Welcome to Disruption Dialogues Podcast Season 2. Listen to the influential leaders and trailblazers from around the world as they share invaluable insights to navigating the fifth industrial revolution.
So, hello and welcome to another episode of Disruption Dialogues Season 2. I'm Katyayan Gupta, Vice President Advisory at MarketsandMarkets, and it's my pleasure to have a conversation today with Jo Debecker, who is the head of Full Stride Cloud business line for Wipro. Among multiple things that Jo manages, he is responsible for defining Wipro's cloud go-to-market strategy. As an executive, Jo is a very seasoned leader and has a strong focus on client success and Wipro values. He brings over 2 decades of experience, and he has a track record of driving growth and leading complex transformations. Very interestingly, in 2023, Jo was named as one of the top 25 digital transformation consultants and leaders. So Jo, I would like to welcome you to this episode of Disruption Dialogue. We are here today to talk about a very, very interesting and an increasingly becoming relevant topic of cloud economics. So let me begin by asking you the most basic one, or the most obvious one. How would you define cloud economics, and why suddenly it has picked up so much of interest over the past 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for the introduction and thank you for having me. So cloud economics is actually about applying principles and methodologies to understand, on one side, the cost benefit, and on the other side, I would say the business value of cloud computing. So it's kind of a strategic approach for customers on their cloud deployment journey. So instead of just focusing on, I would say, cost-cutting measures or increasing efficiency, cloud strategy emphasizes the collaboration between finance, business and technology to really maximize business value, learning how to reallocate resources and adjust cloud consumption in line with their business strategy. So this is a relevant topic because organizations who have shifted massively to the cloud are now trying to understand how can I better manage the cloud consumption in a way that cut costs on one side, but really aligns much better to business value on the other side.
Great. So I think this is a very interesting point you raised, value versus cost benefit. So traditionally, in our experience of working with enterprises, with different organizations, we often come across executives who are looking only at the short term, cost to benefit analysis. What is the ROI? Right. Value is a much longer discussion and conversation. So how would you say that executives can measure and communicate the value of cloud communications and cloud investments to executives or board members who are specifically focused more on cost and benefit?
Yeah, so I would say measuring and communicating the value of cloud investments to executives, requires a bit of a strategic approach and taking a bit of a step back, highlighting both short term, which is what cloud investment used to be, and also look at the long-term gain of cloud investment. So beyond communicating, I would say the traditional financial metrics such as cost benefit, ROI, TCO calculations, which we all know in this industry, it's important also to communicate and to focus on where can we gain business benefits. Things like time to market, agility, innovation, staying competitive on a business level, capitalizing on big data, on AI, all of those require cloud infrastructure, and really looking at those and see which business opportunities those will drive, which new revenue streams those will drive, is actually the way to drive the conversation around cloud economics. It's always important to kind of find the balance and to communicate the balance and a balanced perspective that, we address immediate concerns and cost perspectives at one side, but also this bigger picture, long-term strategy, business value, and really making business differentiation of cloud investment. So having those 2 conversations at the same time is basically the new dialogue we're having with many of the CDOs and the CXO suite.
Very interesting. So you spoke about the fact that while the traditional financial matrices are important, but so is also the business value component is important. Do you think bringing in the angle of innovation, because right now that is the key thing, right? So how do you leverage, say, technologies like AI, and Gen AI specifically now, which is the big thing, or maybe some of the technologies which were introduced earlier but are not that strong, like IoT, some of the mainstream technologies. How do you think these emerging technologies right now, which are at the precipice of either an inflection point or just new to the market, how do you think these can help drive this conversation of cloud economics for specifically companies who are probably, getting into a cloud journey right now?
Yeah, I would say, and I've tried to communicate around this a lot, there is no AI without cloud. If you look at AI requires a massive amount of data processing or data provided by cloud. and then a various, or let's say a vast amount of processing power, which also cloud delivers. So no AI without cloud. And in the future, I would say, let's turn it around. There will be no cloud without AI. So this is how important I think AI will be around the cloud. So emerging technologies like AI and IoT are playing and will play a vital role in exactly enhancing what I call the business value of cloud services. Using cloud will enable use IoT, will enable to use AI, and really is going to address often the question around what is the business value of having a cloud service or running things on cloud. So when integrated with cloud computing, I would say those emerging technologies, if I could still call IoT emerging technology, but definitely AI, will drive the innovation efficiency, the competitive advantage, and really the business value you can derive from your cloud, investment. So for example, combination of cloud, IoT, and AI enables the development of new products in many R&D factories and services which lead to innovative business models. So AI can enhance cloud security, as another example, by identifying and responding to threats real time, optimizing operations by automating certain tasks, and basically filter out all the jitter. So you can see that the use of these new technologies in combination with cloud is going to open a lot of new business opportunities and competitive advantage for many customers.
Absolutely. I think your comment about AI, no AI without cloud right now, and then in the future, no cloud without AI. I think that's a very strong statement, given the fact that we are also seeing very increasingly the number of inquiries that we are getting from companies, the number of projects that we're working on around AI and its application into whether it's an internal application or it is a client-facing application. It's just increased manifold. And I think it's a trend that it will only increase with time. I think as you have more stronger generative AI use cases come up, I think enterprises are still trying to figure out how best to use generative AI within their systems. But as and when it becomes more stronger as a business case, it'll be even more. So specifically to these new technologies about cloud, as the consumption of cloud goes up, so what impact does it have, say, on concerns like sustainability, on environment? So there is a direct link there. How do you see that evolving in space?
Very good question, and it's a question we get quite often. Actually, hyperscalers like Google, Microsoft, Amazon are very hot on the sustainability topic. Frankly, I still believe that sustainability is and will remain a dominant topic for any business. If you look at Microsoft, for example, or Google, these hyperscalers, they are driving towards running all the cloud into a net zero environment in their data centers. So running on cloud will become equal running, sustainable way. So that is a little bit the link I see between cloud and sustainability, and understanding, coming back to our topic, cloud economics, and the intersection between cloud economics and the environmental impact is becoming increasingly important. That's another example. While going to the cloud is just not only a technical or technological decision, it's a business decision that will help the business, become more sustainable. So considering corporate responsibility, emphasis on sustainability, ESG will become a main driver, or let's say a main parameter in deriving the right cloud economics for your company. So things like energy efficiency in the data centers, carbon footprint of your data centers, resource optimization you can drive, your data center locations, regulatory and compliance and environmental items. I think all those things are parameters people will use in order to make their cloud migration decisions in the future.
Absolutely. I think this is where the point that we were discussing earlier about business value comes in, right? So it's not just about the financial metrics of today, but then what value will come. So like we said, innovation is one. The other part is your business is ready for the future requirements. Right now, it's in certain geographies, it is already mandated. You have to look into what sort of a footprint, what net zero has become a regulation, right? So
absolutely.
How do you prepare your business for a long-term sustainability is also into question, and cloud economics probably helps you solve that part of it.
Yeah, that's right. It helps you solve that part. It helps you to articulate back to the business why you would have to migrate to the cloud and which business value you can generate from cloud. Sustainability is one dimension for sure. And I believe one that is going to become more and more dominant in the future.
Absolutely. Interesting. So, is there, we've discussed about what business values examples could it be? The financial metrics. Could you take us through, say, one of your case examples that you've done, maybe at Wipro, where one of your clients was struggling to deliver this value internally, trying to sell it internally, maybe because of inertia, lack of investment, or whatever that reason may be, because it'll help those organizations who are right now thinking of moving into cloud. How do they even broach this topic of cloud economics? How do they bring the business value component on the table and make it a real conversation?
Yeah, I'll give you two examples, and it's centered around business agility and kind of optimizing the business while you're optimizing your IT and your digital infrastructure underneath. So first example is a multinational food and drinks company sitting in Europe, facing difficulties, classical one, getting unified view and governance across their various public cloud spends across multiple cloud service providers. We implemented, our cloud economics, reduced idle resources, right-sizing the cloud environment, leveraging modern technology, but at the same time, so reducing the cost, which is the classical, item people look at. But at the same time, we've also significantly improved their turnaround time around the FDA validation process, which is kind of the long pole in the tent if you look at their complete operational process. So not only, improving their, let's say, spent on IT and spent on processing power, but at the same time, really improving one of their core fundamental processes around FDA validation, which is for a food and drinks company, majority of their business in the US, a very important, operational process. All right. Second example is around a large utilities company. And here, our client just moved all the workloads, well, the majority of the workloads to the cloud, and was, paying a larger than what they anticipated, monthly cloud bill. We came in, implemented our methodology and tools to enable them to have cost observability, governance, and optimization, which is the classical cost savings item. But at the same time, we improved the efficiency of their energy distribution operations across their core distribution infrastructure. So not only optimizing their IT bill, but at the same time also optimizing their core business, which is distributing of energy across their core infrastructure. So two nice examples, I would say, where cloud implementation and cloud economics not only looked at, let's say, the cost piece, but also looked at the business value it could generate for the end customer.
Great. So I think there are still commonalities in both the examples that you shared, Jo. So, you talked about processes, you talked about efficiency, and the fact that you were able to deliver value to the core of the business. And suddenly, so when you were talking about these examples, suddenly the discussion about cost was way away, and you're focusing on the core business. That probably wasn't even the initial thought for your client to, when they were looking at cloud journey. So I think that's a very strong proposition when someone is bringing that to the table, I think internally as well. So just using this thread, what would you suggest to, say, new organization? And that is where, this example I wanted to check from you in terms of any case study. What advice would you give to, say, any customer or any company which are now starting to move, say, certain of their workloads to cloud? How should they, is there any advice that you in particular would want to give to them? What are the best practices or learnings that you have that could be benefit to them?
A few items from my side. Number one, cloud is not a destination, right? Cloud is a journey. So you need to get ready and you need to step on a journey. And then this journey requires strategic planning and strategic thinking. So it's not just a cost or an IT play. It is actually a business play. So clearly defining the business values and business objectives for me is fundamental. And with that, that would be my second point, is it is also a management of change. It's an organizational change. So when implementing cloud, you're not just, touching the IT part of your business, you're actually touching your business itself. And for that, you need to have a management of change or an organizational readiness, done to basically implement your cloud. So for me, cloud economics and cloud implementation requires a balance between cost, agility, scalability, innovation, but also management of change and making sure that your organization is ready. Many cloud implementations, customers that are successful nowadays, there would be, I would say, 75, 85, maybe 90% on the cloud. Customers that are less successful, 10, 15, 20%, usually are missing this kind of translation of the cloud implementation to business values and strategic objectives of the company, and also are often missing the management of change and the organizational change that goes behind implementing cloud. So I would say those are the 2-3 things, very successful companies move to the cloud, have always looked at the business objective and the management of change, as well as the cost perspective of cloud implementation.
Absolutely. So I think in one of the studies that we've executed here, what we realized is that some of the cloud implementations that have been successful is because you have typically a cross-functional team set up as a steering team that helps the business and the IT. And of course, you have the finance people as well in order to, right? So these three come together, form the perfect triangle, whereas implementations where clients have told us they haven't been that helpful or they haven't been very, very happy with the kind of results they're getting. You typically see that IT-led, right? They're looking at, okay, if I'm moving my X workload to the cloud, how much capacity am I saving? What is the cost that is going down in terms? So it's very IT focused versus business focused. And I think that's the key here. As much as cliched it might sound, but it is a business imperative. It is not a IT imperative. IT drives it, but I think business should own it.
Absolutely. Well said. Fully agree to this.
Yeah. Fabulous. So, we are in 2024. Wanted to understand your predictions, so I'd love for your predictions on 2 fronts. First being on cloud economics, your area, and just the second part being broader predictions that you have for 2024. Just to let you know, we have also published our own cloud predictions for 2024. So it'll be a good litmus test for Markets and Markets.
It will be a good litmus test for myself. So I think on the cloud economics front, obviously, new technologies like AI, serverless computing, infrastructure as a code, and edge computing will come into play. So cloud economics will just not only look at cloud economics, it will look at edge to cloud economics and look at the complete continuum and really do some kind of FinOps and cloud economics across the entire, let's say, continuum that you have between those. And on the other side, I would say industry cloud solutions are becoming more and more prevalent. And also here, we'll have to implement cloud economics on industry cloud solutions. Sounds a bit contradictory, but it is. So really having cloud economics based on individual industry cloud solutions and customizations, and which one is more optimized for which business or business, part is going to be, for me, the new 2 areas in which cloud economics automatically will evolve, this year. Second part of your question, which is, I would say, the predictions for 2024, not just cloud economics, but for cloud in general, is, for me, one thing is, I would say it's the resurrection of the classical infrastructure, the edge computing. Okay, so with ultra low latency computing, I think edge is back, has never been away, but is actually more back. Energy and utilities, we talked about it, they will likely benefit from, a shift towards edge computing, tremendous amount of data that can be processed and be captured locally, from numerous dispersed assets, Internet of Things, OT. This data typically goes to on-premise data centers in the past for processing and management. Now we want to process it on the edge, send it back into the cloud, and basically generate, the classical business values we see there. So clusters of IoT computing devices, various edges in combination, with your central cloud, and then basically managing what I said across it with via cloud economics. This continuum, I think, is one kind of prediction that I see. I see in 2024, even more than in 2023, an increase in multi-cloud and hybrid cloud computing. So, for me, multi-cloud is a de facto reality for many of our customers. They have multiple public cloud implementations today. And so being able to recognize the advantages of a diversified cloud strategy and multiple cloud and hybrid cloud models, to prevent vendor lock-in and to ensure optimized performance and cost, for me, will be a trend we will see even more in 2024. It's driven by several factors. Data privacy becoming extremely hot in 2023 and even more in 2024. Security regulations, example would be financial services, healthcare. Those things will drive multi-cloud and hybrid cloud adoption. If you look at, my own territory, which is Europe, they have the Digital Operations Resiliency Act, the concentration risk in US, kind of the regulation by the US Treasury. 2 classical examples. Those regulations will ask, financial institutions and companies to show how they're going to manage failure of a service on the cloud and kind of disclose the concentration which they have with respect to cloud providers, and automatically will drive them into building a multi-cloud and hybrid cloud strategy for their company. So that would be the second one. Third one is obviously this year is going to be the year of AI, interactive AI and Gen AI. So the next level of AI, I believe, is going to be interactive AI, meaning an AI that will have real-time learning and adaptability during any kind of human-machine or human-computer interaction. I believe the large language models will become smaller, more tailored, more customized, more democratized, and therefore we'll see a steep cost decline in having to apply and use those LLMs. And by that, it will democratize basically the whole Gen AI story. And I think that will be specifically helpful in customer service, virtual assistant, chatbots, if I just apply it now to my own industry. So AI is going to see a phase of maturity this year, and this year is going to be the year of the industrialization of AI. All of us have played with AI. All of us have got very nice use cases. How do you industrialize it now across your entire organization, across your entire business? So that would be kind of number 3. Number 4, and I'll close with this, is going to be around sustainability. So sustainable cloud. Many hyperscalers are super hot on sustainability and sustainable cloud. So I believe, and I said it before, sustainability is a dominant topic in every industry, despite still, let's say, the economic kind of not very exciting period we see globally. Sustainability has never been off the agenda. Despite Corona and the working from home, sustainability was there. Despite the fact that many industries are not growing massively, sustainability was always there. So sustainability is going to be, for me, not an emerging trend, but a continuing trend in 2024. So that would be my 4 or 5 trends for 2024.
Fabulous, fabulous, CEO. So I will just, kind of summarize a couple of things, and some things really hit close, because as I mentioned to you that Markets and Markets has also done its own prediction in cloud computing for 2024, and one of our research report is already out there. Most of these topics are covered. So edge computing for us is also one of the fastest growing sectors that we see, and there are multiple use cases across industries, right?
Absolutely.
In addition to that, I think you very clearly said about multi-cloud and hybrid cloud. And in terms of the growth rate, we see hybrid cloud going the fastest across all the different versions of either a public or a private, right? And even on multi-cloud, that is a reality. I mean, we do so many interviews, and we talk to customers all the while. I think vendor lock-in is such a big issue that you need to have multi-cloud agreements, and also the fact that inherently the IT environment is multi-cloud, given that different vendors are already in there. Now, the final part that you talked about AI, I will end on this. I was in a very good conversation last week with 2 of the biggest software technology companies globally, right? And their executives told us that in 2024, all the products and services, or rather all the products and solutions that we will roll out will have AI in some shape or form. And your part about LLMs becoming smaller and more compact and more focused towards a use case or an industry vertical, that is something that we are already starting to see. So thank you so much for highlighting these points. It just reinforces what we are hearing on a regular basis from industry veterans and experts like you. So everyone, thank you so much for listening in. I was in a conversation with Jo Debecker, head of Full Stride Global Business Line at Wipro. Jo, thank you so much once again. And everyone else, stay tuned for such interesting episodes on Disruption Dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to know how you can navigate and thrive in this disruptive era, subscribe to Disruption Dialogues on your go-to podcast channels and stay tuned for more interesting episodes.